In the 41st millennium, horrors lurk around every corner, nightmares born of war, faith, and machinery, yet for countless citizens of the Imperium, some of these horrors have become nothing more than a part of everyday life, a cog in the endless Imperial machine. These abominations, known as Servitors, are half-man, half-machine constructs, stripped of their will and remade to serve. Once human, now reduced to flesh-bound tools of the Adeptus Mechanicus, they are tasked with everything from menial labor in the darkest forges to brutal combat on the front lines. In today's video, we'll uncover the grim process behind their creation, and the fates of those chosen for servitude, and the many roles these mechanical thralls perform in the service of the Imperium. After AI had turned on its masters in the dark age of technology, the Imperium had outlawed the creation of true machine intelligence forever. But humanity still depended on machinery to function, to fight, to survive. Vast hive cities needed maintenance, forge worlds needed labor, and starships needed armies of attendants. Someone or something had to shoulder that burden, and so the responsibility fell to the tech priests of Mars. These robed cybernetic mystics, guardians of ancient knowledge and interpreters of the long-dead technologies, feared artificial intelligence with a religious fervor. To them, the machine spirit was sacred, but a self-thinking machine was an abomination, a sin against the Omnissiah that could never be tolerated again. Yet, the Imperium demanded workers without minds of their own, laborers who would never revolt, drones that could endure radiation, void exposure, toxic fumes, and endless toil. And so, the tech priests engineered something that towed the line between man and machine. Not an AI, but a person stripped of everything that made them human. The process to create a servitor is brutal, irreversible, and unimaginably cruel. The victims, often criminals, slaves, failed psychers, religious sacrifices, or even vat-grown clones bred solely for this purpose, are transported to a Mechanicus facility where the true horror begins. There, beneath humming cognitor rays and the cold gaze of red-lit optical lenses, the ritual of unmaking begins. Their minds are wiped clean, scored of every memory and every spark of identity. What emerges is a lobotomized husk, a body without a will. Organs and limbs are carved away and replaced with machinery. Servo arms for heavy lifting, augmented limbs for industrial tasks, weapon mounts for future battlefield use. Even their skulls are opened, with pieces of bone removed to make way for cognitor modules, neural dampers, and behavioral programming. By the conclusion of this operation, the human body is little more than a biological chassis, wrapped around a lattice of circuitry and steel, a living server rig built not to think, but to obey. The few scraps of brain left intact are rewired to follow commands, to repeat programmed routines without question or hesitation, and with proper maintenance, such as oiling joints, replacing worn augments, periodically re-sanctifying the programming, these mechanical slaves can function indefinitely. No rest, no dreams, no rebellion, only eternal servitude, a prison from which no one can escape. Within every sector of the Imperial workforce, servitors can be found. These hollowed-eyed, half-human instruments of labor form the silent, unyielding backbone of factories, mines, and manufactorums across the width of the Imperium. In these colossal engines of industry, where the air is thick with smoke, heat, and the thunder of machinery, servitors toil without pause. They forge equipment for untold regiments, assemble war machines destined for the front lines, haul ore from the deepest pit mines, and perform cycles of construction so long and repetitive that no mortal worker could ever hope to endure them. Their bodies may break, but their programming never does. Out in the field, their purpose shifts, yet remains no less vital. Servitors fill countless technical and mechanical roles, performing battlefield repairs in conditions where sparks fly, shells fall, and human workers would flee or die. They refit damaged armor plates, rewire scorched circuitry, and restore engines under fire with machine-like precision. Many serve as lumbering carriers of heavy weaponry, ammunition stores, or specialized equipment, forever trudging behind their commanders, ready to present the tools of war at the moment they're needed. However, a servitor's presence stretches far beyond industry and battle. Deep within the administrative arteries of the Imperium lie endless, suffocating corridors of paperwork and regulation. Servitors fill roles that keep entire sectors from grinding to a halt. They operate as tireless record record keepers, human calculators, data processors, archivists, and custodians of inventory. They sift through mountains of forms, maintain archives stretching back millennia, and balance logistical networks so massive that no unaugmented mind could comprehend them. The bureaucracy of the Imperium would collapse in days without these lobotomized scribes feeding its endless appetite for documentation. Servitors are workers, builders, carriers, and scribes, and play such vital roles within the Imperium, yet they are often looked over as nothing more than slaves at the will of their imperial masters. Servitors are especially integral to the Adeptus Mechanicus, and serve crucial roles within the Adeptus Astartes as well. For the tech priests of Mars, servitors are not merely tools, they are the lifeblood of their war machine. The Adeptus Mechanicus has entire battle doctrines centered around the mass deployment of these cybernetic thralls. In the red, glowing shadow of Titan-forged walkers and Skitarii cohorts, whole columns of heavily augmented servitors march into battle, bearing weaponry that no baseline human could ever hope to lift. Plasma incinerators, multi-meltas, grav cannons, brutal instruments of annihilation mounted directly into their surgically reinforced frames. They advance without hesitation, lungs wheezing steam, optics pulsing with machine-scripted directives, turning battlefields into smoke ruins one mechanical volley at a time. High-ranking tech priests also bring with them their own personal retinues of servitors, each one custom-built for a specific sacred task. Some relay data across encrypted channels, others carry relic tools, resource caches, or entire arrays of modules used for various tasks. As previously mentioned, the Adeptus Astartes make extensive use of servitors as well. Tech Marines, warrior engineers sworn equally to the Codex Astartes and to the cult Mechanicus, rely on servitors to maintain the chapter's war machines, from battle tanks to sacred plasma weaponry. These servitors assist with endless manual labor tasks, hauling equipment, heavy tools, transferring ammunition stockpiles, lifting armor plating, or processing battlefield diagnostics. And when the chapter marches into battle, some servitors accompany them directly into combat, acting as tireless extensions of a tech marine's will. A few, however, take on even more symbolic and revered roles, such as relic bearers. Chaplain Grimaldus of the Black Templars is famously accompanied by his Cenobite servitors, once neophytes who died in service of the chapter and were reborn as sanctified vessels of duty. Now they stride beside him across the battlefield, carrying holy relics and chanting litanies in somber unison, their mechanical voices echoing hymns of vengeance and devotion. Other chapters follow similar practices. Many make use of failed aspirants, young recruits whose bodies could not withstand the transformation of the gene seed, instead of being cast aside. These fallen hopefuls are granted a grim second life, reforged as servitors. Though they will never become space marines, they still serve the chapter and the Emperor, their sacrifice etched into iron and circuitry. In the end, servitors proved to be one of the worst fates imaginable for any human in the 40k universe. It is difficult, almost impossible to picture oneself in the position of those unlucky enough to undergo this process. Having one's mind wiped clean, personality erased, memories devoured by circuitry. Humanity is stripped as limbs and organs are cut away, replaced piece by piece with cold, unfeeling machinery. It is a transformation that strips away every trace of humanity, leaving behind a hollowed out shell condemned to an eternity of back-breaking slave labor. Servitors are nothing more than another cog in the imperial machine, expendable, silent, and utterly obedient, subservient thralls damned by either their own actions or by the whims of their cruel and distant masters. There is no redemption once the process begins, no hope, no future beyond programmed duty, and yet this horror persists because the Imperium demands it. It relies on it. Every gun forged, every starship repaired, every tank rearmed. Somewhere a servitor is paying the price in flesh. They are the unseen foundation of mankind's endless war for survival. A fate that perhaps may be worse than death, and one that millions endure, so the Imperium can endure one day longer. If you made this far, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just want to do something covering the Servitors, because they are a creepy part of the lore, but they're kind of cool too. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It helps me out a lot. If you have any suggestions, leave them down below. I always look at the comments. But anyway, thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video.